Alright guys, the first philosophical point that I want to talk about is patience. You know, I don't own a whole lot of fishing shirts. I think I have this and a Bass Pro shirt. I love my Huddleston shirt. It has great symmetry. It's a cool shirt to look at. But more importantly, I agree with the namesake, Huddleston, Ken Huddleston, his philosophy. I've seen some footage of him, and it's a very kind of zen, in touch with nature, trying to mirror nature rather than fight it, oppose it, or overpower it. That's the philosophy behind his lures. Now, I'm not using just Huddleston lures. I'm using the whole gamut, you know, of everything that's popular. But I reference that, guys, because being patient in this style of fishing is very, very important. Remember this. This is critical, guys. If you're transitioning from tournament fishing, or if you're just a recreational angler and you're used to getting, you know, X amount of fish or X amount of strikes a day, you may know in your head, you may think, oh, it's swimbait fishing. I'm going to be looking for some big fish. I don't expect many bites per day. It's one thing to say it. It's another thing to go out day after day, week after week, potentially month after month, and feel that. You have to be very committed and very clear on what your goals are. If it bothers you not to have a bite at the end of the day, if it bothers you not to feel a tug on your line, or if you feel like you're going to, you know, just have to throw on something to feel a bite, this might not be for you. Now, I'm new at it. I've only dedicated myself to it this year, but I spent about half my time last year doing it, and the year before, I actually spent probably about a quarter of my time, so I keep doubling it each year. But this is a very, very important part, guys. Swimbait fishing, you're in the pursuit of kind of the elite. You're in the pursuit of those 1% of fish. That's your goal, nothing else. I could care less if I catch 30 2- and 3-pound fish a day. It does nothing for me. You know, it's fun. It's absolutely fun, don't get me wrong, but there's no thrill, there's no excitement, there's no racing of the heart when you see a fish that the average angler only sees once every couple of years. And that's your only reason on being on the water, is to find fish like that. The adrenaline rush, the exhilaration of the true trophies, the ones that people speculate about, that's why you're there. That is your purpose on being in the water. If that's important to you, if that's the fire that's in you, you don't even need a pep talk. You're just going to go out and do it day after day, and you're not going to burn out because it's truly what you want. But for you other guys out there, hey, there's nothing wrong with getting that rig. Maybe getting one even as a tournament angler, right? You get 5 in the boat, and then you want to get that one nice fish, you know, the kicker fish everybody calls it. Absolutely, throw it on. But before you go all in, right, and buying a whole lot of gear and a whole lot of lures, because this could be a very, very expensive kind of division within bass fishing, be clear about what your goals are. Do you think that you're going to get tired of fishing if it's been, you know, 3, 4, 5 trips at 6 to 8 hours a trip and you haven't even gotten a bite? Now, I'm not saying that that's normal, but that could also totally happen. And anybody who's swimbait fished for a long time will have those stretches of absolute nothingness. And you just have to kind of evaluate where you are, guys. So the key is patience. The key is really figuring out, first of all, if this is something that's right for you. On the other side, I know that kind of seems all like down and out, like, oh, why do you want to do it? You sound depressing. The flip side is, when you get that strike on that huge bait that you know only a big fish can swallow, you see a splash bigger than one you've ever seen before, and that heavy rod, heavy action swimbait rod bows over, and you feel like you got a shark on there. Your heart feels like it's going to jump out of your chest, and then you see that thing, well, you don't want it to come up, you try to keep it down, but you finally see this fish that you've dreamed about. It's a new personal best for you, for sure, right? It's all worth it, and it charges you up for, I guess everybody's different, but for me, I got a great fish right in the beginning of the year, and it's like, it just gave me energy for like the next couple months. It didn't matter how many times I went out and didn't do so well. I had seen it, I had felt it firsthand, and nothing was going to stop me now. All I was concerned about was getting one bigger. So guys, that's it. That's a little philosophical thing right there, in terms of getting into it and having the right mindset and staying committed to it. You know, no fault if you get into it and it just drives you crazy. You know, hey, I guess you got to be in it to win it, right? You got to try to really know if it's for you. But I would just say, guys, really think about it before committing yourself to it. But for those of you that do, and you're in it for the long haul, sooner or later you are going to be rewarded with a stupendous fish. I'll just mention one other thing. I know this is going long. I've seen in comments, and I've even had people message me that say, hey, well, I got my personal best on a 4-inch Senko. My brother-in-law got a 9-pound bass on a Mepps inline spinner. It's not about what can happen, right? We all know that a huge fish can take the smallest of lures. It's about hedging your bets. That's what it's about, hedging your bets. If I had to bet you, if we both went out for a week and you're using little lures and I'm using my big baits, do you want to take that bet? Do you think you're going to catch the bigger fish, or do you think I'm going to catch the bigger fish? And it's not about the single outing, it's about trip after trip and looking at your results over the course of the year. Not even the season, but over the course of the year, throwing those big baits cumulatively is going to add up and give you some of those huge fish that you're looking for.